It may be the most aggressive attack on Donald Trump in the presidential campaign so far. The Louisiana governor, the Republican presidential candidate, Bobby Jindal, today unleashed a barrage of criticism against Trump. He says it's time for the Republican frontrunner to go back to reality TV.
He's non-serious. He's a carnival act. Here's the truth about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is shallow. He has no understanding of policy. He is full of bluster. He has no substance. He lacks the intellectual curiosity to even learn. You can't argue policy with this guy. The only thing that Donald Trump believes in is himself. Look, he tells us that his health care plan is going to be fabulous. He tells us his tax plan will be really, really terrific. He is shallow. There is no substance. He doesn't know anything about policy. He has no idea what he's talking about. He makes it up on the fly. He doesn't believe in limited government. He has told us that. He, over and over, from his belief in socialized medicine to his desire for tax increases, he has told us over and over that he's got no problem with big, top-down style government. We have no idea what he would actually do in the White House. Folks, it is time to get serious about making America great again. It is time for Donald Trump to take the ride down the elevator. It is time for us to tell him, Donald, you are fired. It is time to tell him we will not put an egomaniacal, unserious person in the White House.
And Governor Bobby Jindal is with me here in Washington right now. Wow, those are pretty strong words. All of a sudden, you're attacking Donald Trump in a blistering tone like that. Why?
Well, Wolf, a couple of things. Look, summer season is over. We're past Labor Day. Time for silliness is over. I enjoyed the Trump show as much as anybody. It was entertaining. We'd love to see him be politically incorrect, go after the D.C. insiders, but he's full of nonsense. Here's the reality. This is an important election. The idea of America is slipping away. I think the Democrats are handing us this election on a silver platter. Conservatives have a choice to make. Do we go back to our tested conservative principles, or do we turn it over to a man who only believes in himself? He'll either implode in the general election, or even if he were to get elected, we have no idea what he would do if you were actually there. It's time to stand up for conservative principles.
You know what your critics are already saying? Look at this new CNN ORC poll. Trump has widened his lead. He's now at 32%. Dr. Ben Carson at 19%. You're basically tied for 12th place right now, maybe at 1 or 2% in the CNN poll. You're doing this to try to get publicity to generate excitement for your campaign.
Well, a couple of things. Our early state strategy is working. We're moving up in the polls in Iowa. We've got larger and larger crowds there. We're doing town hall meetings. This isn't about me. Folks that have attacked Donald Trump have gone down in the polls. Folks that haven't attacked him have gone down in the polls. This is about our country. This is about the conservative movement. Look, the idea of America is slipping away. We're on the path towards socialism. $18 trillion of debt, Planned Parenthood, selling baby parts across the country. This is an important election. I think this is an election we can win. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Hillary Clinton's a flawed candidate running a very bad campaign. I saw you were talking to Bernie Sanders before. Well, give him credit. At least he's honest enough to call himself a socialist. I mean, Hillary and Obama aren't any different, and Bernie's now ahead of Hillary. We've got this election. It has been given to us. We can't trust this to Trump. He is an egomaniac. He is a narcissist. The only thing he believes in is himself. Look, he's for socialized medicine. He's against it. He's for higher taxes. The only problem he's got with big government, he's not running it. He's not a conservative.
All right, so you signed the pledge that you would vote for any of the Republican candidates who eventually got the nominee. If Donald Trump is your party's presidential nominee, will you vote for him?
Well, Wolf, that's why I'm here today, to stop that from happening. We've got to stop that.
Will you vote for him if he's the nominee?
We've got to stop that hypothetical from happening. He's not a conservative. It's not only is it dangerous that he could implode against Hillary, what's even more dangerous is what happens if he gets elected. People say, oh, it's dangerous. You can't have this madman near the nuclear codes. It's not just that. What's more dangerous is we got a man who, there's no ideology, there's no policy, there's no intellectual curiosity. He's only for himself. He said, he said his favorite book was the Bible. He couldn't name one verse that he liked that had an impact on his life. Well, I don't think he's read the Bible because he's not in it. This is a complete narcissist. It's been a fun show. The idea of Donald Trump's great. The reality is awful.
So you obviously don't think he's qualified to be president of the United States.
No, absolutely not.
Will you vote for him if he's the Republican nominee?
I'm working hard to make sure he's not going to be the nominee.
I know you keep saying that, but the pledge is, and this is the pledge that Reince Priebus, the chair of the RNC, forced Donald Trump to sign. He would support the eventual Republican nominee. I'm asking you, would you support Donald Trump as president of the United States if he wins the Republican nomination?
We're not going to let him win the nomination. That's what this is about. This is about saying this is bigger than the Republican Party. It's about our country. Look, I'm not running as a third-party candidate. I'm a lifelong Republican. I'm a Republican. But my point is he cannot be the nominee. He cannot be our next president. I think he is right to say we got to fire the professionals in D.C. I think he is right to be an outsider. He's right to be politically incorrect. His diagnosis is right. His prescription is wrong. His prescription is that he is the solution. He's not the solution.
All right, so I pressed you twice. I'm not going to press you again, but I don't hear you say, at least here today, that you will vote for him if he's the nominee. This new CNN ORC poll says 51% of Republicans in this nationwide poll say it's likely he will be the nominee.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think people like the idea. I think they've been. Look, it was funny when he gave out Lindsey Graham's cell phone number. It was funny when he said Jeb Bush's audience was falling asleep. It was amusing when he gave helicopter rides. Well, he is not a serious man. He is not a man of substance. He is not qualified to be the nominee or the president. He's an egomaniac. He doesn't want to make America great again. He wants to make Donald Trump great. This election's all about him for him. This election needs to be about our country. It's not about Donald Trump.
So you know the headline, at least one of the headlines out of this interview will be the Governor Bobby Jindal refuses to promise he will vote for Trump if he's elected the nominee.
The headline should say Governor Jindal promises he will stop Trump from becoming the nominee. Look, I think I'm the best qualified to be that principled conservative. Regardless, the voters will decide that. I think we need to nominate a principled conservative who will fight to shrink government. I'm the only one that's actually done it. Everybody else talks about it. We need to elect somebody who will fight for religious liberty. We need to elect somebody who will restore our military, invest in our military. These are critical issues. The idea of America is slipping away. The entertainment's been fun. Give him a reality TV show. CNN should give him a TV show. Give him some time. He'd be great for ratings, but he shouldn't be the president.
All right, let's talk a little bit about refugees while I have you.
Sure.
The White House announcing just a little while ago, the president's going to go forward with a new initiative given the crisis that's going on in Europe, for example, right now. Listen to Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary.
The president has directed his team to consider how we can further scale up our response. One thing that the United States can do is to begin to admit more Syrian refugees into the United States. This year, that will end, the fiscal year that will end at the end of this month, the United States is on track to take in about 1,500 Syrian refugees. The president has directed his team to scale up that number next year. And he's informed his team that he would like them to accept make preparations to accept at least 10,000 Syrian refugees in the next fiscal year.
Are you with the president on this?
No. Look, we normally take roughly, and the numbers vary, about 70,000 refugees. There's a vetting process. They're talking about putting a Band-Aid on a problem they helped cause. Let's understand why this refugee crisis happened. America is the most generous country in the world. We do more to help folks around the world, and that's a great thing. This crisis was caused by his failure to enforce the red line. We're going to continue to see Syria disintegrate. We're going to continue to see millions flee, hundreds of thousands now, could ultimately be millions flee this region. We can't take in enough folks to solve this problem. What we can do is fix our flawed foreign policy. I'm for continuing the vetting process we've already got in place for refugees. What I am for is fixing the foreign policy. He can't escape responsibility. This president, when he said he wanted to lead from behind, when he wanted to say there was a red line that he didn't enforce, these are the inevitable results.
Governor Jindal, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you all.
Always good to have you here on CNN. Appreciate it.